All right then now, I'm going to tell you the story of the Swampness Monster. Now this story dates back to around the year 1870 after the South had just won the Civil War. And you see, there was a big conspiracy at that time from the cryptozoological peoples and the academic sorts. And they had a plan. And they was going to bring the South down. And so what they did was they went to the in Scotland where they had that Loch Ness, and they went and they took his baby. They took his baby right from it, and they brought it down straight to Mobile, Alabama. Yeah, and that's where we from. You know that. And they brought it down there, and they just let it go in the swamps, and they just figured over time it was going to take care of the whole South problem, and so. That's basically what they did, and the story of my encounter with the Swampness Monster actually go back to back to the summer of 1983, which is roughly 110 years after the Swampness been there, and that's a lot of time for it to get nice and big and stuff, and we didn't. Believe none of that mumbo jumbo about Swampness and stuff, because you hear that stuff and people talk about Bigfoot, and everyone knows that Bigfoot is out there. He's staying in luxury hotel rooms and stuff because he's a celebrity, and don't no one just live in the forest if you're a celebrity. That's just not how you go about it. So I think it was Linda Sue, Carol Ann, and I think Joe Bob and myself. So the five of us, we done going down out to the mud packs near the swamps because we were going to go noodling because that's how you catch catfish if you're from the South, because, there's mud and stuff, and I really don't know why we don't just use fishing rod like normal folk, but we don't, we noodling, noodling. So we go down and we in the middle of noodling, and Joe Bob decide that they want to go and start the noodling off. And there's a big commotion because Joe want to go first, but Bob also want to go first. And if you're Siamese twins with only 3 arms, it's pretty evident that means only one arm is going to hold beer while both of you go noodling. And so they were very upset about that. Because, I don't know, Joe said, this is my beer, and Bob said, fuck you, man, we noodling, we only got one extra arm between us. I'm going to have some of this beer too. And that's pretty much how that went down. And so they plunged their arms deep, their shoulders deep. They got the third arm right here holding the beer, if you can picture it in your head. And they put their arm shoulder deep, and the other arm shoulder deep in the mud. And that's when it happened. That's when Joe Bob come up with the Loch Ness Swampness Monster. And it was terrifying. And I should probably clarify, it's more like the Swampness Monster. He done come up with Joe Bob hanging from his nostrils. And that reminded me about something I was going to tell you about how to skin an alligator. We talked about it earlier. The best way to skin an alligator is to grab it by the nostrils, and you put both fingers in there, and you jab them in there real good. That's going to cut off the oxygen supply, and that'll keep the skin real tight and meat juicy. So that's how you skin an alligator. Anyway, going back to that story about the Loch Ness Monster, I keep saying that. I mean the Swampness Monster. Just to clarify, Loch Ness, I don't know if Nessie's still out there. I do know that the Swampness Monster out there, and that's what I'm getting to. So Carol Ann and the other lady that was with us, they start freaking out because they come up with the Loch Ness Monster, and he hanging from the nostrils, and he fall out, and he fall in the mud, and he okay. And the Loch Ness Monster very confused. If you wake up, you hibernating in the mud, and you wake up and there's some person hanging from your nostrils with a beer can flying in your eyeballs, you'd probably be pretty upset too. So that's what happened. And then Carol Ann said to Bobby Joe, if you in a horror movie and you have sex, you definitely gonna survive. So they run off to the tent together, and they couldn't have been more wrong because Nessie just popped one tail, they was gone. Just smack it with the tail. And I thought it was going to be done for me too. So I started looking through my pockets, and I think, is there anything in my pockets that's going to save me from this Loch Ness Monster? And I pull out my Swiss Army knife, and that's not very likely. And I look in my other pocket, and I got exactly $7. And And I know that we're gonna have a problem right away because this here beer I know costs exactly $3.50. So I told her like this, Monster. I tell you what, I got $3.50 for you if you take this Swampness Monsta $3.50 and you should go away and let me live. And he said okay. And that was the second to last time I saw him, because I did see him about 2 hours later that day buying also the same beer that I just drank. All right, that's my story.